Welcome to my new podcast. None of this ever happened. Bedtime stories for adults who need therapy. I'm your host, your narrator, and your completely unqualified cosmic tour guide through tonight's nonsense. Nova. This podcast contains fake stories, real laughter, occasional bloopers, and absolutely no quality control. Raw, unfiltered bloopers included. Because perfection is expensive, quality control is apparently optional, and none of this ever happened anyway. So get comfortable, relax your brain, lower your expectations just a little bit. And now let us begin. Episode 3, The Chameleon Who Couldn't Stop Blending In. There was once a chameleon named Leonard. Leonard loved to travel. The problem was, Leonard also loved blending in. In fact, he blended in so much that he had occasionally forgotten who he was. One morning, he packed a tiny suitcase, put on a tourist hat, and announced, "I'm going to see the world." Nobody stopped him. Mostly because nobody could see him. By lunchtime, he had blended into a cactus. By dinner, he had blended into a lawn chair. And by bedtime, he had blended into a tax form. That was an uncomfortable week for everyone involved. Eventually, Leonard arrived in a desert town called Beige Springs. Everything in Beige Springs was beige. The buildings, the roads, the dogs. Even the lemonade was somehow beige. Leonard immediately disappeared. 3 days passed before he remembered he was standing in front of a hotel. The hotel clerk finally noticed 2 eyeballs floating in midair. "Can I help you?" she asked. "Oh, I think I'm a guest," Leonard replied. "How long have you been standing there?" "Honestly, I have no idea." The clerk nodded. "That happens here." The next morning, Leonard continued his journey. Soon he reached a mountain village where everybody wore bright red jackets. Not wanting to stand out, Leonard turned bright red too. Within minutes, people began mistaking him for the mayor. Residents followed him everywhere. They asked him important questions. "When should we repair the bridge?" "What should we do about the raccoons?" "Are Tuesdays even real?" Leonard panicked. He didn't know the answers, so he simply nodded and said, Interesting." Apparently, this was exactly how the mayor normally responded. The town applauded his leadership. Leonard escaped before they could elect him for a second term. A week later, he found himself aboard a cruise ship. This sounds relaxing. Unfortunately, the ship was hosting a convention for wallpaper enthusiasts. The moment Leonard saw the wallpaper, he matched it. The moment he matched it, he vanished. For 4 days, people kept hearing a mysterious voice giving travel advice from inside the walls. One passenger claimed the wallpaper recommended investing in decorative potatoes. Another swore the wallpaper warned him about suspicious birds. Nobody questioned it. People trust wallpaper more than they should. Eventually, Leonard escaped again. This time he arrived in a strange forest. Everything there seemed normal at first. Trees, grass, flowers, and birds. Then he noticed something odd. Every single animal was pretending to be something else. A rabbit was disguised as a librarian. A squirrel was disguised as a motivational speaker. A turtle claimed to be a professional DJ. Nobody seemed concerned. Leonard was fascinated. He spent days asking questions. Finally, he asked an old owl, "Why is everyone pretending to be something else?" The owl laughed. "Because it's fun." Leonard thought. The owl continued. "Besides, nobody really knows what they're doing anyway." The squirrel motivational speaker overheard this and shouted, "Write that down!" Everyone applauded. The turtle played celebratory music. Leonard sat quietly for a moment. For the first time during his entire journey, he stopped trying to blend in. He stayed green. Just green. Nothing fancy, nothing hidden, nothing borrowed. Just Leonard. And do you know what happened? Nothing. Absolutely nothing. Nobody cared. The birds kept birding. The squirrels kept squirreling. The turtle continued his suspiciously successful DJ career. The world didn't stop spinning. The clouds kept moving, which, according to certain birds, was still very suspicious. Leonard smiled. Maybe blending in was useful sometimes, but maybe standing out wasn't so scary either. Then a tourist walked by and asked, "Excuse me, are you a chameleon?" Leonard froze. Without thinking, he immediately blended into a nearby shrub. Some lessons take longer than others. And that's the last confirmed sighting of Leonard. Though some experts believe he's currently disguised as a throw pillow somewhere in Arizona. And that, my friends, was the story of the chameleon who couldn't stop blending in. Remember, these things never happened. Because they're not real, baby. So, good night. Buenas noches. Es nice sign. And sayonara. Oh, and aloha. And I'll catch you in another story that never happened.